members of CO, executive members of CO, brothers and sisters of the motherland, Liberians who are following us by the social media and the electronic media. Today we have come right here at this intellectual breeding ground that is noted for cross-pollinating ideas and hosting cross-section of Liberians that come here to cause for good governance and for the progress of our country. As a responsible political civil rights institution, we see it as our responsibility. Whenever our country comes under attack, we do not seek permission to move into history and kind of defend of our country. At this critical juncture, today we are here to expose a deep conspiracies, not just only against the newly elected House Speaker, Honorable James CDC-COP, but against our beloved country. And that reminds me of a Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. He said in the war, our life begins to end the day we become silent about things that matter. And like I said, and I'm saying it again with consistency, as a responsible political civil rights movement in Liberia, we will not be silent about anything that matters to our country. So today we are here to speak to the country. We are using this intellectual program to speak to the country and also ask you, irrespective of our political differences. The Barack Hussein Obama said, our disagreement on single issue cannot be a deal breaker on every issue. So no matter our disagreement, our country here should be the only thing that can unite us. Legends are over, but not to help us believe in their primitive mind that they are the owner and custodian of this country. And we have come to say enough is enough. This country is not Joe Walker park country. Joe Walker is an old man who is in a hurry. I mean, he could do anything to collapse this country. So we have come to say enough is enough. We will stand up and we will speak to ills, not just in word but in action. If our words cannot resolve certain things, we will not hesitate to move into action and we will not seek your permission to do that. Now you can go to bear with it. This country is a death before dishonored. Not when we are existing. The Unity Party will succeed with their deep conspiracy. Before I call our Secretary General and our Honorable Chairman, Bembili Tokbak, let me quickly recognize our Vice Chair for Administration who just walked in, Ketri Pelina. He's still the affairs of our institution. He runs the day-to-day affairs of our administrative issues in our institution. And let me also quickly recognize Liberia. I beg your pardon. Let me recognize Africa, larger political grassroots movement, the Congress for Democratic Change. Members of the CDC who are here, the chairperson has signaled me to hold on. He will use the medium to speak on that. So our press conference here today will be simultaneously addressed by the Secretary General and the Honorable Chairman Bembili Tokbak. So permit me to take my seat and now call on the Secretary General to proceed. So please, today is our CEO. We are here
not only the guys of any political party. So please, we are cognizant of the obvious reality that people of diverse political parties are here. So please, just allow us to do the press statement, and after it, then we can come back to see you now where the dissenting view on the cross-pollination of idea can be exhibited. At that time, it will be your right to can't defend your blue, it will be another man's right to can't defend his green. So please, we are just speaking with you today. We have to speak to the Liberian people on series of issues pertaining to the foreigners, the maintenance of peace and stability of this country. So I am only the paraphernalia. I will be setting the basis like the Baptist did, but the most powerful person who is the chairman will give the holistic in-depth analysis of the necessity for which we have gathered. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, the CDC Council of Patriots wants to say this very clearly, that it's about time the Joe Biden administration stop using sanctions and visa restrictions to silence political opponents in Liberia. Sanction is a mere political allegation where a few handful of elements in Washington, especially within the Joe Biden administration, are using to marginalize, to attack, to intimidate the ordinary masses, people's children. The CDC-COP they are on the front to our sovereignty. When last any of us in here have ever instructed the West, the Yankees, the Americans, on how their congressional elections should be governed? When last any one of you? Why should we continue to be puppets to the West? Are we still in the age of slaves? If that is the case, then why can't we just abandon elections and allow the Joe Biden administration to just choose who becomes our president? Every one of you here as intellectual will intellectually resist that. But that has been the scenario. The CDC-COP calls on the U.S. Treasury Department of the Biden's administration to stop meddling in the legislative politics of Liberia. People's representative in deciding by force to appease the imperial capitalists of Washington. The CDC-COP see there as a flagrant disrespectfulness and an anti-political plot and open abuse to our sovereignty as a nation. No Liberian anywhere on the planet has ever tried to intimidate or manipulate the U.S. congressional election. But yesterday was sanctioned by the U.S. Treasury Department. But today, check the list. You will get to know that native sons is Jefferson Tamakodi, is Nathaniel Fallon Magay, is Prince Yomi Johnson, is Eddie Trawale. Native song, the indigenous conspiracy is at play. Wow! I will see Amara Kone being sanctioned, the Ministry of Finance. Wow! Then we see the sanction of Joseph Walker when he admitted to squandering the Libya Rest Project. All that today people can be sanctioned on gossip and political rhetoric. The recent designation, they suppress you under the guise of this administration. Your legitimate legislative entitlement, but there's just a beginning. Why should sanction turn out to be a political commodity targeted at a particular group of people? This is a very dangerous inventoress that has the propensity to undermine the peace and stability of this country. Mr. Joe Biden, President of the United States of America, the CDC-COP wants you to be cognizant that using sanction as a political tool is one of the prominent reasons for the rapid growing influence of China and Russia around Africa. Our nation must be treated with respect in a recycling cycle. It is time to unite and not further divide nation of the world. We are calling on Mr. Biden to immediately intervene into the stop of unfair sanction on the native children of Liberia. So have Mr. Prince Moriba, the Deputy Inspector General of the LMP, masterminded the escape of Joshua by murder of Queen Johnson under the instruction of A.B. Kroma with a mandate that we're going to push this country into war. We are cognizant that Mr. Boycott fears the CDC-COP. We know about the threats. We know how they believe they can use political misinformation and rhetoric to attack us. We know how Queen Johnson is painted on a video. Everyone of you has seen the video. Until he was beaten. The result of 8 people getting instruction to Prince Moluba. He's not taking every instruction for his bossman. But today you have the CDC-COP. We are living testament of who we are. When we enter, you see our faces like we say we lion, goats, and sheep. You know who we are. We know ourselves. We know our history. We got no history of being any violent people in this country. We know how we were misinterpreted. We know how the national government called on for us to be a prosecutor. We went. We were illegally detained and arrested. We went to court under a government that we supported. You were here. You were here. Oh man, allegation and the videos that they will challenge any man for. Blood will be on the hands of Mr. Boycott and his autocratic unity party for the next 6 years. Is responsible. To conclude, the CDC-COP reminds Liberians about the dangerous days ahead. But we can assure our people to have our blood on our heads. We have been through great turbulent times and survived them. The journey will be still in danger, but we are certain we'll overcome. If you feel in your mind that we'll be seeking for people's sacrifice, you are daydreaming. We can assure sickness of the occasion in the area of our movement.
We're observing this moment of silence for comrade compatriot Joshua Brown and Mumu, who was murdered at the instruction of Mr. Joseph Boycott during the 2023 presidential election. It is so and the souls of all fallen compatriots. President.
Everybody is standing without option.
Thank you very much. Please be seated. And that's the patriotic nation of our country, and we would like to recognize that as the chairperson. Distinguished members of the Fulton State, the CDC-COP reveals that Mr. Joseph Boycott plans to remove Honorable J. Fonati Kofa after 3 months is dead on arrival. At this critical juncture, we'd like to call all CDC lawmakers to boycott the inauguration of Mr. Boycott. Let me reiterate, at this juncture, the CDC Council of Patriot calls on all CDC lawmakers to boycott the inauguration of Mr. Joseph Boycott, who plans to remove the speaker who should preside over his inauguration after 3 months if he's ever inaugurated in this country. The CDC-COP also shames the Liberian Senate for who angers control her and will take tea in the mug and spell it on her colleagues at the Honorable House of Senate. This is a national disgrace to our country. CDC-COP also remind Liberians that these sanctions and visa restrictions are the newest political conspiracy, and these are tools that are intended to reduce the influence of indigenous staunch political actors of our country, precisely seditions. One of the sickening things that Mr. Joe Biden should watch out for is how can you sanction even a 12-year-old child of Liberian Minister of Finance who is an American citizen studying in the United States. Is a major contradiction. The sanction of a Jefferson Koji who led his party peacefully in the electoral process, and no fur or remove on an animal or single screen of hair from a human being included and indicated human rights violation. The bureaucrats of the Biden administration have been compromised, and these are some of the reasons why the or indicated is undermining America's influence. Biden watch out. This is not for Biden. It is about the people of the great United States of America, we have to keep our eyes on the prize ahead. The CDC-COP uses this medium to call on Honorable J. Fonati Kofa that yesterday's process was a concocted trap wrapped up to bad time for deadly political manipulation of our democracy. There is absolutely no victory yet. Speaker Kofa, we do not congratulate you yet because there's no victory yet. There is absolutely no victory. The political chicanery have just started. And we want the world to be aware that this plan is intended to undermine our democracy. The United Party plans to remove Honorable Fonati Kofa in 3 months. This reason is enough evidence to allow all CDC legislators to boycott the planned January 22nd, 2024 inauguration program. So, Mr. Boycott, I want to say this to you. We are cognizant that in Liberia, thriving political history, it is not easy for a speaker to maintain his independence when a compromised and self-seeking individual is elected in the country's highest office. But we, at this point in time in history, will not fall for this. It took few courageous men to defend the mass of our people, to challenge the status quo, the Marcus Garvey, the Fidel Castro, and the CDC-COP of fearless men and women is prepared to be posted at the barricade and save our people. I want to say this. All CDC lawmakers will be besieged. Your homes will be besieged. We are not just giving it as a caveat because we know there are many in the CDC who we can be to make sure you are elected on a party's ticket. I want to say this to you. This mandate comes with action. Men, parent-wearing militants of the mass-based CDC-COP patriots are prepared. It's going to be a CDC to CDC affairs. So we want to maintain the Liberian National Police, the United Party Police precisely, of Prince Baba. You can divert your energy to protect Mr. Boycott's $1 million presidential mansion purchase in Boys Town. You can basically use that energy to protect his newly renovated over $500,000 United States home in rehab. You can use your energy to do that. But when it comes to our peaceful and patriotic action of ensuring that our lawmakers, including Speaker Kofa, boycott the so-called plain inaugural process, we ask you to stay out of it because we are prepared for this moment. We either fall standing but never on our knees, and we'll never be taking for anyone's sacrifice yet. We're not going nowhere. We are right here. We're not like your preachers who can run away. We went to jail under our own government, and we are prepared to face it with both faces. Not even death can intimidate us, Mr. Parker. The CDC-COP patriots will walk in this country and challenge the status quo with both faces. And to a weakling in Abochie, I want to say this to you. Woe unto you, Abochie. Your kangaroo garment is finally exposed. From bottom straight to chair on public works, you submit the pro-temporary position that brings Senate to a man T-Speller Youngly. Woe unto you have proven the Liberians that you are a spineless character. How dare you negotiate benefits from the so-called executive only to stoop low to a Youngly Kanga Lawrence? The CDC-COP can assure you that Youngly and the United Party Alliance were the folks who campaigned, who paid hundreds of thousands of dollars to lie on you, paid for sanction against you. Today you stoop low about chair to a mere T-Speller only because you want to chair public work. That's mere grief. Some of you are the reasons why. Some of you are the reasons why the result of these elections is what we have today. To Honorable Nathaniel Falom again, we faithfully believe that your name as chair on education in the Liberian Senate under a mere T-Speller Youngly is a typographical error that must be corrected effective immediately. The project we know
who once upon a time served as Secretary General of the Mighty Congress of Democratic Change and chairperson of Africa's biggest political grassroots movement, the Mighty Coalition for Democratic Change, and led the masses to victory, will never stoop low to a Yumli Kanga Lawrence, a Matthew Spiller, as chairman on education. This is a great contradiction, Senator McGill. This is not why we went to Maggie before, move in the trenches to show you are elected senator. I want to say this to Miss. I want to say this to Honorable McGill. The CDC-COP uses wavelength to give you 48 hours to effective, immediately reject Youngley's appointment as chair on education. You cannot reduce the institution, the mass-based Mighty Coalition for Democratic Change, to a mere teaspoon. Obviously, the House of Senate is desecrated. We want to say bravo to Senator Benson Hamilton Finley. We want to say bravo to Senator James Emmanuel Nukwe. We want to say bravo to Senator Sahali Joseph. We want to say bravo to those conscious and few in numbers. Senator Bill Trari, compatriot Bill Trari. We want to say bravo to you. But we know, Honorable McGill, to have the commendation and enjoy the support of Liberia's biggest grassroots civil rights movement, you must correct the wrong in 48 hours. And I went on Facebook, I saw a page, Nathaniel Palo McGill celebrating and chair on education. I said, no, this is a fake account. And the senator I know, the Pongeba we know, should resign or resist effective immediately as chairman on the so-called committee. You are elected senator. That is the position you will serve until the House of Senate is cleansed. I want to say this to a lady who cried fire. Moima Bridge Menza. We got you on record. A low-level, two-faced, glory-seeking individual who betrayed the struggle of her colleagues at the level of the lower house. Want to masquerade the corridor and shake blames? You should blame Stanton Waters who manipulated your minds. But I want to say this to you in closing. I want to say this. I want to re-emphasize this. In as much, you know, there is this saying. They say the wicked and stupid ones never think about the consequences of their actions. The wise ones are the ones who calculate very well. But biblically speaking, the foolish ones always brush and expose their own calamitous process. Let me say this to you. A Joe Biden who still thinks as president-elect is now using a United Party alliance, Lumina of thievery, sophisticated criminals in America and others to threaten the removal of Funati Kofa. Before we can even go to set on a kangaroo justice system of the so-called Boycott administration, even if the managers, which we cannot guarantee yet, we'll have to start with Yumli, we'll go to the law, Mr. Poon, the Rachel Poon, and all of the folks around there will be pre-causes having. To those of you diaspora Liberians, when President George Manning Weah said that we should vote in the referendum for dual citizenship, Liberian citizens are in the US, they're in Germany, they're in Canada and other parts of the world, working overtime. So they work 2-3 jobs. And proceeds of their labor are sent to Liberia through Western Union, sent with MoneyGram to take care of you and your children here. But a Joseph Boycott administration is being very discriminatory. This is unfair. And because of politics, you sit and blind your eyes. Let me say this to you. His honor profile is untouched, or there's no inauguration. So we're going to start with this. On the 22nd of January, the block that made Funati Kofa speaker, that block is mandated by the Liberian people to boycott the January 22nd inauguration. His Excellency Dr. George Weah is a man of peace, and on January 22nd, he will turn the Liberian people power over to them. At that point in time, constitutional options will be made. But CDC legislators will boycott the so-called inaugural process. This is something we'll never ever compromise. And to close, to those of you, the naysayers, who think you have the ability to threaten, let me say this to you. We've been down this road before, and we are glad to be here again. In fact, let me say this to you, know what regime does? It brings the spirit of complacency. We meet face to face, we meet in this country, we meet at the barricade, and we, the CDC Council of Patriots, we're prepared to save our state. We're prepared to save our people. We're prepared to challenge the status quo, beginning with the boycotting of the process. Comme Foko, comme Abu Bakar Kamara, and the likes of you want to be very crystal clear. Come speaker for the Tikofa, this is a conspiracy to remove you. I want to say this to you. There will be no attendance. We are not disrespecters of democracy. We do not disrespect democracy. You have your higher inauguration. The only thing we're saying here is that the CDC lawmakers will boycott the inauguration. We're going to enforce that, and we, the CDC Council of Patriots, will take patriotic actions, physical patriotic actions to stop that process. Thank you very much. God bless you all. God bless Liberia. Long live the mass-based micro-coalition for democratic change. Long live the CDC Council of Patriots. Long live Liberia. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for watching us.
That was a statement by the CDC-COP.